Margaret from the blog Don't Call It Bollywood, and this is my weekly box office report. It's an exciting report this week because there's two really big movies that came out that are making a lot of money, Raazi and Mahanati. What's extra exciting to me is that both of these movies are female-led in their own ways. I'll start with Raazi, which is the most clearly female-led film. Written and directed by a woman and starring a woman and based on a true story of a woman. This is the kind of movie that everyone says will never play anywhere because people don't relate to women because women are weird and men are the universal. This is kind of the same argument that, until Black Panther, was used about why white people always had to be cast in blockbusters. It was just common sense. You had to cast a white person because if you wanted the movie to play overseas, no one would be able to relate to a non-white person in that kind of a role. But then Black Panther came out, and it turns out, yeah, people can relate to people, because people are just people. I doubt the same thing's going to happen with Alia in this movie, because if it was going to happen, it should have happened 2 years ago with Neerja, which did even better business than Raazi is doing this week. But Raazi is following the same pattern that Neerja did. It's making close to 6,000 per screen in America, which is huge. I think it's the biggest per screen release America has had yet this year. It's number 9 in the UK box office. It broke into the top 10 in UK, which is very rare for Indian films. Not unheard of, but rare. And it's doing well everywhere else too. It's doing well in Australia, it's doing well in New Zealand, it's doing well in Canada, all of these markets that aren't guaranteed hits. It's doing phenomenally in Malaysia. Malaysia, where only Tamil films work. Now, I'm not saying it's setting box office records or it's like massive, 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 can't ignore it hit. But it is very, very big. And it should be recognized for being very, very big, not because it has a major star in the lead. Alia is an up-and-coming star, but she's not major yet, even if you ignore the male-female thing. She just hasn't been around that long. The film is thriving not just with Alia, but with everything that surrounds it. It has a good script, it has good direction, it has good actors besides Alia, it has all of these high-quality elements. And that is what is making the film work, that they put in the time and they put in the effort to make a really good movie, start to finish. The obvious comparison for me is Judva with Varun Dhawan, the other one of Karan Johar's proteges. That movie, they didn't do any work at all. They remade a script that was already in place and they made it worse and less interesting than the original version. The rest of the cast had nothing to do, essentially, besides Varun Dhawan dancing around. All the songs were remixes. There was pretty much no effort put into this movie. The assumption was, Varun is an up-and-coming star. We'll make a movie with Varun. We won't think about anything else. And that's how the promotion campaign worked, too. They put so much money into promoting Judva. So much money. And all the promotions were just focused on, hey, remember those songs you liked? And now here's Varun Dhawan. That's it. That's all the movie was about. Raazi was made on almost no money. Alia is the only really named star in the cast, and I think I heard even she took a price cut, and everyone else is just a nobody, super cheap. And you can see that the sets and the locations, everything, I don't want to say it looks cheap, but you can see that they weren't wasting any money when they made this movie. And they certainly didn't waste any money on the promotions. It had a good promotional campaign. It didn't sneak out of theaters the way female-led films usually do, but it had a small promotional campaign. There was a teaser, there were song trailers. It all started just about a month and a half before the movie ultimately came out. It wasn't everywhere and inescapable the way Judva was. And yet, it is making so much money and doing so well. And to me, it is partly because it is a female-led film. Because the thing is, women know they can't relax. They know they always have to work hard. Everything always has to be the best, or else you won't be considered for anything. And so Alia does her best performance in this role. Meghna Gulzar did her best directing job. This is one of the few chances she's had to direct in the past 20 years. And she's got credentials like you wouldn't believe. She's got better credentials than any other director in the industry. both in terms of her father being Gulzar, as in the Gulzar, and in terms of she actually went to Tisch, one of the best film schools in the world. And yet, this is only, what, her third, fourth major film? And we've got all of these random young directors just wandering into movies and being offered directing chances. Obviously, she's going to work super hard to make it the best movie it possibly can. And all of that is going to come together and make people want to see the film because you can see the effort that was put in. Now, let's switch gears to Mahanati, which I have to say I didn't much like. And I don't think there was that much effort put into it. The script seemed kind of lazy to me, frankly. And I didn't see anything that original about it. However, the person it is based on is the biggest star, possibly the only star whose life story could carry this kind of a film through so many regions of the world and through so many industries because her life story is just so big. Mahanati is doing well in Australia and New Zealand and the UK. These are places where Telugu films never play. Maybe they'll come out and they'll do sort of okay, but they're not going to be major hits. The last film like this was, that VJ movie, Mirsal, which is Tamil. And it was remarkable at the time. People going, I never would have thought a Southern movie would do well in these markets. And now here's another Southern movie doing well. And to me, it's because this story is so remarkable and the person it's based on is so remarkable, and she is bringing in audience members who wouldn't otherwise come because she is a woman. I looked it up. In her lifetime, she made 264 movies. Gemini Ganesan, her husband, who the movie focuses much too much time on, I think, only made 170 in that same time period because he was a man and men don't have to work as hard. And she was a woman. She had to make an effort. She had to learn multiple languages. She had to work in multiple movies simultaneously. She had to do all of this to even begin to have the kind of career that a man could just waltz into. And therefore, she became the biggest star because she worked so much harder than a man ever would. And that's why this movie is becoming such a big movie, because it's based on someone who worked so hard that she's breaking those barriers. Now, I don't necessarily think anyone else is going to get this lesson from this week. I suspect the lesson is more going to be woo Alia Bhatt and less woo female stories and Meghna Gulzar and movies that actually have an effort that go into them. And in the same way, I suspect the film Mahanati is going to be less woo, we should appreciate our female superstars more, and more woo, we should appreciate Dulquer because he was Gemini Ganesan and he got the script-backed role more. But for me, at least, that's the lesson. Female films work because people work at them. And male films would work too if men just worked a little bit harder sometimes. Anyway, that's how it looks to me. You can agree, you can disagree, you can leave me a comment on my blog. There's a related link right below. Thanks. Bye.